L'chol zman va'es tachas hashamayim. The Torah teaches us how to become sensitive to time. The very first mitzvah that we're given is Kiddush HaChodesh, about time. One of the most fundamental categories that we have in halacha are mitzvahs shazman grama, or ein hazman grama, karbanos, tfilos, moadim. All of them have to do with time. It's fascinating that we find that maybe the greatest wisdom has to do with time. The pasuk that, when praising the wisdom of Yisachar, says, "Mibnei Yisachar yodei bina li'itim ladas mayasi Yisrael roshehem masayim v'cholachehem alpihem." Says the Malbim on the words bina li'itim, "Hayu yodeim latet eitzot al maaseh bnei Yisrael lefi hazman." They knew that different times called for different approaches, different answers. That was the wisdom of Bnei Yisachar. L'chol zman va'es. Different times offer different opportunities. And Torah informs us how to use those opportunities, how to use our time, our minutes, our hours, days, months, and years. I'll tell you a little secret. I don't know if you realize this. Much of your year in Israel had to do with time. Concepts of goals, values, cheshbon hanefesh, all of them directly or indirectly have to do with the use of time. I'd like to spend a couple of minutes to share with you a fascinating insight of Rav Wolbe that concerns time. Rav Wolbe says that we generally think of time as a resource. We have a list of goals we need to accomplish. In order to accomplish them, we need resources. We need money. We need intellect. We need midos. We need people who will support us, who will advocate for us. And we think that one of those resources is we need time. People who do not have time are not able to see opportunities and certainly are not able to actualize them. And that may very well be why there's this unusual punishment for an Eved Ivri who refuses to leave Avdus. He leaves the control of his time to someone else. And this perspective is correct. But there's another perspective on time that is very, very different. Every moment, every hour, every day is a building block of our lives. And when all those building blocks come together, they form who we actually become. Like in a mosaic, different pieces come together and they form together a picture. How I use my time determines who I become. From this perspective, time is no longer a resource. It is not a means to an end. It is an end unto itself. You see, when you have two individuals, individual one, individual two, and both of them accomplish, and maybe even accomplish a lot. And the first individual compared to the second one accomplished more. But that individual still wasted a lot of time, used time inappropriately, while the second individual, who accomplished seemingly less, used their time better. So who is more successful? So in the perspective of time being a resource, the first one. After all, look how much he accomplished. From the second perspective of time being the building block, the second one was more successful. And this is the option that we have when we face choices about time. Do we move in the direction of Vayelchu achar haheva vayirbalu? A person follows vanity and themselves becomes vain? Or, as we do in Sfiras HaOmer, where seemingly we count in a strange manner. shouldn't we count down to the Torah? Why are we counting up? And the answer is because you see, when you treat time as a resource, of course you count down, because you need to know how much time do you have left, because you need to know your resources. But if you're looking at time as a building block, chesed shebechesed, gvura shebechesed, tiferet shebechesed, you're counting up. Because every day matters. Because every day you decide what is going to be that little building block that's going to make you who you are. I'd like just to remind everyone about food, please. There should not be any eating during the Yom Yom. I have never met Linda Pinsky. I was a toddler when Linda Pinsky walked the halls of Michlalah. I don't know how many people are left on campus who met Linda Pinsky, certainly when she was a student. The Mishnah in Pirkei Avos that we learned this past Shabbos tells us that no one asks us whether we want to or when we want to come into the world, and no one asks us when we want to leave this world. Linda was not asked how long she wanted her life to be, and was a lot shorter than she would have preferred. Nevertheless, she exercised her God-given free choice to decide what she wanted to do with the years that she was given. And her parents were not asked whether they wanted to face their tragic loss, but they decided that in the face of it, they would sponsor our program. They decided to make a difference. That was within their choice. Gemara says, Ashrei mi sheba lakan u'talmuda biyado. A person goes up to Shamayim, and their Talmud, their learning, their Torah is in their hand. Linda Pinsky went up to Shamayim with her Torah, with the impact that she had through her life and through the life of her parents. Because you see, from the moment that her parents decided to generously endow this program, Linda Pinsky, even though you may not have ever met her, she has become an integral part of this program. And not just because her name appears on a piece of stationery. She has joined Michlalah in Nitzchias, in eternity. When you will look at the program that you found on the desks, you will see that there are 3 different speakers for the Yom Yom. And all of them are going to be addressing very important, timely topics. But I'd like to point out that there's a 4th speaker who is here to teach a very important lesson. And that lesson, or that speaker, is Linda Pinsky. And the topic of her talk today is going to be, you may not choose how long you will live and how many days you will have, but you can choose how you will use them. And that's a very important lesson. And this is not a lesson that is just a sound bite. It's not a sound bite. It's not just something that you write on a piece of paper. It's not a sticker. It is something that should inform the decisions that we make on a daily basis. How do I want to use this minute? How do I want to use this hour? Hayom Yom. Today is the day, today is the week. How do I want to use it? Who is it that I would like to become? And I believe this is a very important lesson for us to walk away with. Tiyeh zichra baruch. May all of us, staff and students, live up to the lofty calling of this very special institution. I would like to ask Mrs. Zelka, the aunt of Linda Pinsky, to share with us some memories of her life.